global meltdown. That's really the only way to describe the recent worldwide stock market plunge. Now stocks are trying to stabilize, but is the worst over? Here to give us his views on what you should be doing right now, Mike Larson, editor of the Safe Money Report. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, glad to be here.
Well, Mike, volatility has certainly returned with a vengeance here over the last several weeks. And as you've correctly warned us about in your Safe Money Report, the Dow lost nearly 1,500 points in just 3 days alone. What triggered such an extreme move in the markets, in your view?
Sure. Well, over the last several months, the bond and the currency markets have been signaling increasing trouble, even as U.S. stocks were trying to hold up. And that's actually pretty similar to what happened during the credit crisis.
Right.
On top of that, you've had global markets that have been under pressure for quite some time now for a whole host of reasons: slowing economic growth, falling commodities, rising U.S. dollar, political instability. I mean, you name it, they've been up against it.
Yeah, that's true. You know, many emerging markets have dropped 20, 30, even 50%, as you've pointed out, or even more in the last year. But as you say, U.S. stocks have held up well, at least so far.
Well, you know, the averages have, but behind the scenes, many stocks and sectors have actually been deteriorating since the spring. And, you know, I'm not just talking about the obvious ones like energy, but also materials, transportation, industrials, and more recently, even technology and financial stocks have started joining that sell-off.
Yeah, that's true. It's getting broader. So here's the question on really everyone's mind right now. Is the sell-off over?
Well, sure, markets look ugly in the U.S. right now. I mean, no doubt about it.
Right.
But equally worrisome, that spread between risky bonds and stocks has widened out to a near record level recently. Now, historically, that's a major red flag for stocks because bond investors are generally considered the smarter money between the two.
The smart money crowd, and you're right, that was a red flag during the credit crisis as well. So what's the bottom line here on whether perhaps we've reached a near-term bottom in stocks?
Well, sure. I mean, as bad as some recent days have been, I think we could still be in for more selling. As a matter of fact, I think the U.S. stock market could easily play catch down to what currencies, bonds, and overseas markets are already doing.
Okay, so caution is warranted here still, and I agree, but what specifically should investors be looking for now?
Well, look, I mean, our stock market just bounced after suffering one of the largest three-day routs in history, and I wouldn't be surprised in the least to see a bit of a larger rally here in the short term soon. But again, given how severe that turmoil has been overseas, given those big divergences between many stocks and the broad averages, as well as those worrisome signals from the bond market, I think you can make a credible case that we're not done with this sell-off longer term.
Mike, is it possible, do you think, that the long-term bull market that began way back in March 2009 is over?
Can't believe it's been that long, huh? You know, I wish I could say I was more optimistic, but frankly, stock markets have been on autopilot for several years, and that's because of this massive central bank money printing.
True.
But I think now that could be morphing into something that's much more volatile and dangerous, but also potentially very profitable.
So here's the key question. How can folks attempt to profit from this kind of volatility?
Sure. Well, fortunately, here at Weiss Research, we have a variety of services, all covering specific sectors, that warn beforehand of this impending sell-off and help subscribers to not only protect their wealth, but to actually profit from it. And we're talking about Larry Edelson's Supercycle Trader and Real Wealth Report, John Markman's Tech Trend Trader. All of those have delivered strong gains for readers, even during this market turbulence.
And not to mention your own interest rate speculator, capturing some very nice triple-digit gains here recently during the sell-off.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I believe that in this kind of environment, you're going to have new kinds of opportunities opening up all the time for well-positioned investors. I mean, these are going to be coming fast and furious if this volatility keeps up in the days and weeks ahead. You know, I think it's still a little too soon to say what the market's next major move is going to be. But regardless, I promise you, the Weiss team is going to do absolutely everything in our power to guide you to potential profits and protection, no matter what the markets throw at us next.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate you joining us today. And thanks to all of you for joining us today on Money and Markets Extra. And until next time, good investing.